You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
How about a poster? Anthony Davis is on fire.
You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you're now listening to the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network. I'm Big Q chiming with you on Pelican Postgame Report episode 298. That's right, 298. And in this episode, we'll be recapping the Pelicans' 123-114 win over the Minnesota Timberwolves in the Smoothie King Center. So the Pelicans get a little get back against Minnesota, who beat them the last time they faced off. And the Pelicans lost last game, but they win this game, and hopefully they can continue the trend. That's round of applause is for you and Yearns. Is welcome you for joining both new and established listeners of the Pelican Postgame Report. Welcome aboard for today's episode. And like I said, we'll recap this thing. 123-114 Pelicans get the win with stats, facts, and breakdown, plus analysis from yours truly. And of course, we'll have the interview with Coach Gentry, his thoughts on the win over the Wolves. Plus, in the second segment, we'll preview the matchup against the Brooklyn Nets coming up tomorrow as well. So without further ado, let's get right into episode 298 here on the Pelican Postgame Report. This was a pretty decent win here by the Pelicans, pretty big. This team, the Wolves, now they're 17-20, 5-14 on the road. Not very good. Pelicans are 13-6 at home, so as you can see, that helps. Now, it was kind of a back and forth tilt, until the Pelicans were able to seize the game in the fourth quarter, and that's pretty much what happens, because they came out in the first quarter and they did pretty good business, but the third quarter they fell apart, allowing the Timberwolves to score the most points in the game. They scored 38 in one quarter. That's pretty bad. But then the Pelicans came back, had some pretty good stops in the fourth, holding them to just 25, which is the second highest total that they scored through the game, and the Pelicans scored 35 in the fourth to close out the game, 123-114. Let's get into some of the breakdown in this one here, because Anthony Davis had a mean stomach flu. He tried to go in the game, but of course Darius Miller was another one that had the stomach flu. Let me just give y'all a little shout out here, because I'm into kind of nutraceuticals. If you have like a flu or something, try colloidal silver. Okay, that kills the bug instantaneously. There's a lot of stuff out here that don't work as well. Think about colloidal silver. You can just Google it and perhaps take it. It works for me every time. I don't get sick like that. Just to be honest with you, I know a couple of the Pelican guys listening to it. Just try it out, research it. It worked for me. Maybe it can work for you. A little plug into it. But without further ado, let's get into the information on the game. Anthony Davis, like I say, he was a late scratch, ruled out because of that situation. But Jahlil Okafor started in his place, which was pretty interesting to have Al Gentry to put Jahlil Okafor in his place, but making his first appearance in the lineup since the 16th of November after being sidelined with a fractured finger. Elfrid Payton came back into this thing. He finished with 9 points and 6 assists in 24 minutes, holding a 27-24 lead with 11:27 remaining in the first half. The Pelicans went on an 11-2 run, pushing their lead to double digits. It was 38-26 with about a little less than 9 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Now, after they fell behind by about 15, 66-51 early in the second half, their largest deficit of the game, Minnesota went on a 30-13 run. They reclaimed the lead with a little less than 4 minutes remaining in the third. Karl-Anthony Towns scored 13 points in that time frame. He was 6 of 9 from the field in the third quarter. With the game tied at 95 with about 8.5 remaining in regulation, New Orleans went on a 6-0 run, taking it 101-95 lead with about 7:40 remaining. Timberwolves hung around, keeping a one-possession game in the late stages of the fourth. Then New Orleans holding it at 115-112 lead. The Pelicans went on a 5-0 run to push their lead to 8 points with 35 seconds remaining, sealing the victory. Now, Darius Miller scored 13 of his 21 points off the bench for the Pelicans in the final time frame, shooting 4 of 6 from the field in that frame. He was 3 of 4 from downtown. All the New Orleans three-point makes attempts in the period. That's pretty good. Miller finished the game 7-11 from the field, including 5 of 8 from deep. The win over Minnesota snaps a 5-game losing streak against the Timberwolves, and that's the last win. The last win prior against Minnesota was March of 2 years ago, since the last time this team actually beat Minnesota. 5 times they lost to Minnesota. It was a little dominance right there. I was starting to think the Pelicans would have a little problems surmount this team. So the Pelicans were able to do some really good things here. Looking at the team statistics in this one, 45 of 87 from the field, almost 52%. And usually when you shoot above 50%, they usually win. 43 of 93, Timberwolves 46%. Pelicans were 14 of 25 from the downtown. That's 56%. So the partial lesson is when you shoot plus 50%, which the Pelicans were 52, and then when you shoot 56%, which is, I think that's one of the highest totals so far in the season. The Pelicans have shot 56% from downtown, 14 of 25 versus Minnesota's 9 of 28 for 32%. You're usually going to convert to win. This was a really unique game for the Pelicans, and I use uniquely very strongly because they shot 52% from the field, 56% from downtown, and then they were actually above 90% from the free throw line. They converted 19 of 21 free throws for almost 91%. That's very unique. All those are spectacular numbers. The Pelicans, of course, they won't uniquely get those numbers all of the time, but this is a very unique time. Very rarely do they hit these type of marks, but if they can stay up there, man, they'll be a difficult team. 44 of 39 out of total rebounds. Looking at the team stats and assists, Pelicans 28-29. The steal factor with Timberwolves 10-3. Block war with Timberwolves 9-2. Total turnovers, Pelicans had 15 turnovers, which they gave up 20 points on. The Timberwolves held their turnover ratio down to 7 with just 7 points off the turnovers. Fast break points, Pelicans win 24-19. The points in the paint battle was won by 8 by Minnesota, 58-50. And then, of course, personal fouls, Pelicans had 28-18 on that. Karl Anthony Towns finished with 28. Third, Julius Randle. Now, before we get into the individual statistics, let's hear what Coach Al Gentry's thoughts on the win over the Timberwolves here, Coach Gentry.
I just thought we played hard. I thought we competed, at a real high level. And then I thought we got out and, it was the best pace that we played with in a while. And I think obviously having Elfrid back in the lineup and where Drew can get out and run and we can pitch ahead and do things like that, I thought, we attacked and did a great job. I know we had 22 fast break points at the half. I don't know what we ended up with. That's not good because we ended up with 24, but we had 22 in the first half. And then I did think in the third quarter we started to walk it up a little bit and stand around a little bit. But then I thought we got back into a rhythm. And, they made some shots, which we knew that they would. But I thought we maintained our composure, and then we executed down the stretch and got a lot of good things.
Anyone in particular step up for you in the absence of Anthony Davis, or was it more of a collective effort tonight?
It was a collective effort, but I thought obviously Darius did a great job. He was healthy and playing at a real high level, and he's still, I should say healthy, but he's still a little bit under the weather, but I thought he shot the ball exceptionally well, and I thought he was really aggressive in what he was doing. So, but if we're putting a recap on the game, I would have to say that it was a real good total team effort. I thought it was a real good team effort.
You brought up the pace, but a big part of the win also was the three-point shoot, especially in the first half. How much did the pace kind of play into that, getting those open looks?
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does, because when we play with that kind of pace, what it does is create open three-point shots and not the challenge ones that we take sometime when we're kind of in a halfway jog and getting back. So when we play with that kind of pace and we're driving it to the basket, then our driving kick game is open, and you can see, it really benefits each one and guys like that. And I thought putting each one back in the lineup was key. I thought that, playing off him on pin downs and stuff is what he does real well, is that, we got some easy baskets on that.
You guys were sort of forced to start Ja last minute. Can you talk about how important are the minutes he's given over the last few games and how he's progressing as the season has gone on?
You're right. He is progressing. And, as I told you guys before, the thing about him is that, he works so hard, after practice, during practice, before practice. He puts in the work, and he keeps himself prepared. And so that when we have to call on him in the last minute like that, I thought he did great. Missed a couple of easy baskets that, he'll make 90% of the time. But, just some of the rebounds that he came up with, he got 7 rebounds in 13 minutes. So that's pretty good rebound per minute average. And, he's just a real pro, I think, I feel like he's growing, and I feel like he's going to continue to help us more and more.
A sign of growth to see you guys close out a close game, even without AD available.
It's I don't know if it's growth, but we needed to have a game where we had to execute the last couple of minutes defensively and offensively, and I thought we did that.
Can you talk us through Anthony Davis? Like, it seemed like y'all pulled Ja off the court in warm-ups to kind of let him know. I thought he kind of disappeared. When did y'all really know about Anthony?
Right before we went out for warm-ups, so we didn't pull him off the court. We told him right before, 20 minutes to go in the game. Yeah. So, we just, AD tried. I mean, obviously he's very, very sick, so it wasn't anything that he could do about it. I mean, he's taking IVs and things like that, so we'll just see, It's kind of one of those things, his daughter's been sick, so, we all have small kids at one time, and we know how that works,
You don't expect it to be long-term?
No. I don't think it's anything long-term at all, no. All right, guys. Happy New Year, guys.
That's Coach Al Gentry giving you thoughts on the game. And boy, he can't wait to put Etwine Moore in the starting lineup. I'll tell you what, man. Undersized Etwine Moore, I knew sooner or later he'd slide him in there. It worked tonight because Etwine finished with about 17 points, but I don't know, man. Using that smallish guard in that capacity, I just don't know. But it worked tonight. 123-114. We'll come back. We're going to finish breaking down the game and give you the individual statistics on the players in the game, plus analysis, plus we'll have the preview for the Nets game on the other side of the break. So you're listening to the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network. Stay with us.
ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registers and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
There's a lot of reasons to be a fan, but only NBAStore.com has all the gear.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans.
Attention, everyone.
Get breakdown on games, free agent signings, and potential moves. Unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
What's up, sports world? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Postgame Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share. And help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.
Are you a Pelicans fan? Check out the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network.
You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you're listening to the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network. Recapping the Pelicans' 123-114 win over the Minnesota Timberwolves, snapping almost a 2-year beatdown. The Wolves beat the Pelicans 5 times until the Pelicans were able to stop the Wolves. So they had a little mini domination going on in the team. You heard what Al Gentry said prior to the break about pace and play. Of course, Elfrid Payton got back into the game like mentioned. He scored 9 points, off of 24 minutes of play. He was 3 of 9 from the field, 1 of 3 from downtown, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. He had 6 assists, although he had 4 turnovers in this game. But his defense and the fact that his control on the floor made things a lot better. It made people comfortable again as Drew Holiday was able to shift to his natural position and just worry about being a combo guard, left all of the lead guard duties to Elfrid Payton. Now, speaking of Drew, he wasn't the top scorer. He was the second. He had 26 points with 8 assists, which is what he's been averaging on the season, 4 rebounds, 8 of 17 from the field, 2 of 3 from downtown, and big ups to Drew. He was 8 of 8 from the free throw line in 38 minutes of action. So big ups to Drew. 33 points. Julius Randle was the player of the game. He had 33 points, 11 rebounds, 13 of 23 from the field, 2 of 4 from downtown, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, and 38 minutes of play. So without Anthony Davis, the team put on a quality win over a quality opponent, despite the fact that the Minnesota Timberwolves aren't very good right now, meaning they're only 3 games underneath 500. But this team, make no bones about it, this team will be competing come time when it really counts, meaning post All-Star game. Look for the Minnesota Timberwolves to turn up the heat, because they just, Thibodeau and that team is too good to not to try to be a team competing for the playoff spot. But the good news here is that they did get Elfrid Payton back. It allowed Drew, without Anthony Davis, they won the game. And that's something that they need to do without Anthony Davis. Like I keep saying before, they have enough talent to win these competitions without AD and needing to get involved. Issue is the coach has to get out of the way of the team, meaning that he has to play the proper personnel when needed to play the proper personnel, meaning giving guys an opportunity to come off the bench and compete. I have, you have guys, a lot of young guys that the question was asked to him about playing Anthony Davis so many minutes, and you know what his reply was? He's only 24, 25 years old, however old AD is. He's young, he can handle it. That's not a good response, Alvin Gentry. Despite the fact that he's 24, 25 or whatever, he still needs the proper rest to be able to come in and give you 25 to 28 points a game. That should be right around the regular. If AD comes in and gives you 25 or 26, you can win games by 5 or 6 points, would be lovely. But you have to get other players involved and spare him a bit. We don't have to, it's just ridiculous. It's the same thing that happened with, oh my God, I hope it doesn't happen, but with DeMarcus Cousins, when he was just loading these guys up with minutes, running them to death, and just running 3 guys off the bench. Well, obviously somebody's listening, because they started to do a series of factors. Number one, they're playing Jahlil Okafor. We've been saying that. He played 14 minutes tonight. He was 3 of 7 from the field, struggled a bit. He got into foul trouble early on, which kind of slowed his intensity, but he was going right at Big Cat. And I have to say, man, he was really dueling with him, but he has to be smarter on the foul end of it. He finished with 7 rebounds and 7 points in this matchup, but he was okay. And then the other guy on the starting lineup is Etuan Moore. Alvin Gentry couldn't help. he was drooling at the mouth to get E'Twaun Moore back into the starting lineup. I mean, and that's like, I just don't like him being in the starting lineup. Not because I don't like E'Twaun Moore. I think he's a cool cat. I just don't like the fact that he's small, extremely small, and you have him guarding a guy like Robert Covington, who's 6'8", and E'Twaun's only 6'3". 6'4" in shoes. It's just stupid. It puts us at a competitive disadvantage as far as the defense is concerned. But offensively, he came along. He had 17 points in his game, 7 of 13. He was 3 or 4 from downtown in 33 minutes of play. It was effective. It worked in this matchup. Also off the bench was another big deal. Darius Miller, 27 minutes. Now, he struggled for a while, and of course, he just coming off the bug himself. 27 minutes, 7 of 11 shooting from the field, 5 of 8 from downtown. He had 21 points in 27 minutes, and when he is lit up like that, you're going to get some good burn. Issue is nobody else was lit up. Sheik Diallo did play because obviously Okafor was in foul trouble. She got 15 minutes. He had only 1 point, but he did give you 9 rebounds in the game. So, he gives you hustle. Can't mess with that. Tim Frazier, 21 minutes, 2 of 4 shooting, just 5 points and 3 assists. That's right around why we keep Tim Frazier as a bench guard coming off, to kind of help you maintain the pace. I like that role for him. But I really do think that, you still have Frank Jackson there. I would still play Frank Jackson. You mean to tell me Frank Jackson couldn't give you the same thing that Tim Frazier could? There's nothing wrong with Frank Jackson. Frank Jackson should be the first guard off the bench, point guard off the bench. He should be the first point guard off the bench at all times. It shouldn't be Tim Frazier. It should be Frank Jackson because he's young and he has to get the minutes now so you can use him when the season, coming to the crutch of the season, coming down to the top really tough portions of the season. You got to give him the game minutes now so he can make his mistakes now, and then when the time comes for the playoff environment, he'll have that much more experience because he could possibly be your future point guard. You only have Elfrid Payton here for 1 year. Tim Frazier needs to get, not Tim Frazier, but Frank Jackson needs to get more minutes here. And I really don't think you should be giving Solomon Hill 29 minutes, although Solomon Hill just scored 4 points and 4 rebounds and 29 minutes of action. I think Solomon Hill, that's too many minutes off the bench for Solomon Hill. Solomon Hill should be somewhere around 16, 17, 18 minutes. And I really would like to see Frank Jackson and Wesley Johnson in there some kind of way because we were winning games with Wesley Johnson's defense and his three-point shooting ability. He's long, 6'8", and he's experienced. You can't say the guy is some young guy that don't know anything, So regardless of the situation, the Pelicans were able to come up with the win 123-114 without Anthony Davis with the stomach bug. So big ups to the Pelicans in that capacity as they win. Now moving ahead, the Pelicans, they are now 17-21, still sitting 5 games out of first place. Just 1 game, actually a couple of games behind Dallas. They're in the cellar of the Southwest. They got a fool coming in by the name of the New Jersey. Excuse me, I said New Jersey. I'm old school. Brooklyn. The Brooklyn Nets are coming into. Pelicans are actually traveling to Brooklyn to take on the Brooklyn Nets tomorrow afternoon. And this will be an interesting matchup because the Pelicans really need to get this win. Brooklyn is struggling too. They're 9-11 at home, 17-21 total, and they are really kind of struggling too. So the Pelicans need to get things taken care of in this matchup. Of course, they anticipate Anthony Davis possibly will be ready to play. Nikolai Mirotic will not. They're still going to keep him out. Ed Davis for the Brooklyn Nets will be day-to-day. Rondé Hollis Jefferson is day-to-day. Trevion Graham and Alan Crabb are listed as out for the matchup. Now, looking at the breakdown, of course, Anthony Davis is the top guy for the Pelicans, leading them in points and rebounds. Drew Holiday with assists. Looking at Brooklyn, their top man is D'Angelo Russell, and he's a guy that the Pelicans will have to contend with because he averaging about 17.5 points a game. So D'Angelo is an interesting guy. I remember he would spend a lot of time. He was the Lakers' top pick for many times, but this guy could play, man. He's a big guard, plays point for you. Sometimes he could play off guard for you. He's big enough to even play the 3 position, if you need him to. So he's a very talented young guy. It wouldn't be a bad idea if some kind of way the Pelicans would, I don't know, I'm just thinking in my mind. It just snapped in my mind. D'Angelo Russell wouldn't be a bad player for the Pelicans to have, but I don't know. I don't think that Brooklyn will let him go. But anyway, averaging 18 points a game for them. Ed Davis with about 8.5 rebounds. And then, of course, D'Angelo Russell leads the team with 6 assists. Pelicans, 116 a game, 115 allowing people to score. So the Pelicans scoring 1 point more than what they're giving up. 47.5% from the field, 47.5 rebounds per game, 27 assists per game, about a block and a half a game, 7 steals a game, and they're 3-7 in the last 10 contests. Not good. They got to pick it up. Brooklyn averaging about 111 a game while giving up almost 112 a game, which explains to you why they are losing. You can't give up more than you're gaining, or you're going to be in a deficit, which they are. 45 percentage shooting on the team, 45 rebounds per game, 23.5 assists per game, 4 blocks flat, and about 7 steals per game. They are currently on a 2-game losing streak. They lost on the 28th of last year to the Charlotte Hornets, 100-87, then lost to the Milwaukee Bucks. A day later, 129 to 115, and of course the Pelicans are back to their winning ways. So win, loss, win. If any indication of that continues, it'll be a loss. But this is a game. Even though Brooklyn's on a 2-game losing streak, the last 10 games this team has won 7 of the last 10 games. So Brooklyn Nets out of the Barclays Center is going to be interesting. This will pose interesting matchup because, of course, Al Gentry should have Anthony Davis back. If not, Jahlil Okafor, he'll run out the same lineup. The Pelicans will be the season finale on the series. They only played this team twice. They beat them in a close matchup in game 1, 117 to 115, and this is the final season where they can impose the sweep. Now, the Pelicans, like I said, are in the cellar in the Southwest Division. And if you look at Brooklyn's not in the cellar of their division. They're actually better. The worst team in the Atlantic is the New York Knickerbockers. They stink. They're 9-28. And, of course, the Unicorn is hurt. They've lost 7 in a row. They're falling through the flow. But they're sitting at 17-21 in a competitive Atlantic with Toronto at the top, Philly and Boston. And Brooklyn is 17-21, just about 5 games back of Boston. So they're looking to keep things going in a winning way against the Pelicans. I picked last game. I said, you know what? I picked against the Pelicans, against the Timberwolves, because the way they were playing, the way the system was operating, this is a totally unpredictable team. What Alfred Payton does is that I can agree with some of the commenters and the analysis of some of the guys dealing with the broadcast of the Pelicans. We're saying, like Joel Myers, big ups to Joel, and Jen Hale and the rest of the crew, that I agree with that. Alfred Payton provides a calming effect in a lineup because he allows everybody to be what they're supposed to be, except for Anthony Davis, who is not really a center, but they want to play him at center. Then I keep hearing everybody tell me AQ is not a traditional in the NBA anymore where you have a 7-footer. Very few teams have 2 or more 7-footers on their staff. They might not have 2 or more 7-footers on their staff, but they have guys that are big guys that are 6'10", 6'11" guys that play the center position. Look at what when we played Dallas. Dallas have Dwight Powell. Dwight Powell is about 6'10", 6'11", but he can move around to play the center position. There are guys out there, that's what kind of length we need. We don't need these smallish guys running around here. We need length. We need real length. We don't need, and then, of course, we have a guy like Wesley Johnson, who's 6'8", who is a pretty decent small forward, who can help you on defense and offense, but you let him sit on the bench all game long. Put Solomon Hill in the game, who is not very good, and then you say, okay, no, we're going to put Etuan in the game, who's not really a small forward, who is a 2-guard that needs to come off the bench to help your bench unit with him and Frank Jackson. It's just the madness of it. That's why this team is not very competitive, because if you look at the stat line, and I look at the game stat lines every game when we do the show, and it's never the same lineup. It's always this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy. There's no rhyme or reason to who's supposed to get what minutes. And I'm saying that if you're going to do the smallish lineup where you make Anthony Davis be a small ball center, I don't think you're supposed to play him in that way. I think Jahlil Okafor would do you a better service to be there, because he can run, he can move, and to play Anthony Davis at his 4 position, you'll see more in the return. Then you say, well, that takes size off the bench. Get another damn 7-footer. You don't have to get a center, but get one that can play center in the pinch. Get a 7-footer, get a 6'11", 6'11", or 6'10" guy. Hell, they had one in the preseason, and they let the guy go. He could run the floor. There are plenty of guys in the G League that's 6'11", 6'10", 6'11", guys that double between power forward and center that can actually do stuff in your pinch. The problem with the Pelicans is they're too small off the bench, opposite of Jahlil Okafor. If you could put Okafor next to AD, they give you 2 7-footers. Of course, you have Wesley Johnson in there at small forward, Drew Holiday, Alfred Payton, Frank Jackson off the bench with Etuan Moore, Darius Miller. You can throw Sheik Diallo in there and then of course have a 7-foot big. You can sign a guy, bring a guy in. It's not that hard, man. It's not that hard. There's talented guys out there. You can pick one from the G League. You can. It's just you have to be consistent. Whatever you're gonna do, just be consistent at it. Is all I'm saying. Have the consistency approach. The Pelicans don't have a consistent bench rotation. That hurts the team. It doesn't. If you look at what they did in the matchup, the Pelicans did in the last matchup against the Timberwolves, they had 4 guys coming off the bench. But these are not the regular 4 guys that usually play. Of course, Nikolai Mirotic is missing. And I guarantee you when Nikolai Mirotic comes back, Jahlil Okafor going to disappear to the bench again. You probably going to get 7 minutes, 6 minutes, some minuscule stuff that won't really help the team. Jahlil Okafor is vibing right now. You have to expand Alvin Gentry, your lineup, to 5. I know it's painful. I know it's hurt. But imagine how more effective guys like Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday can be if they had 2 or 3 more or 4 or 5 more minutes worth of rest. Anthony Davis should have to fake injuries or fall down when he don't step on nobody's foot just so he can get extra minutes because you're running them to death. You say, well, he doesn't do that. Man, I can tell what's going on here. The man leading the NBA in minutes played, he needs more rest to be more impactful. Shouldn't have to. I mean, it's just we got to pay attention to our team here. The Pelicans right now 17-21. They beat the Timberwolves 123-114. They have a supreme opportunity going forward to be able to kind of build on this win by beating Brooklyn in Brooklyn. Brooklyn's a beatable team. They beat them before. With a win over Brooklyn, that'll get them a little closer to where they need to be, because the Pelicans' schedule after this, they got the Nets coming up, and after that the Pelicans and they're gonna have to really play hard. To be honest with you, they're going to have to really turn it up because they're not very good on the road. Not very good at the road. They have Brooklyn coming up and they have a 2-game away schedule coming up. Brooklyn tomorrow, then the 5th on Saturday they take on a LeBron-less Cleveland team. So they are competitive. They left missing Kevin Love, but that's still a competitive team. The Pelicans don't play well on the road. So to be honest with you, that's 2 teams the Pelicans should beat. They should beat Brooklyn and Cleveland. Then they come back home next Monday and they have a game against the Memphis Grizzlies, who Grizzlies have not playing as well as they were early on in the season. Then they have that same Cleveland club again on the following Wednesday. So the Pelicans have 4 games before they face Minnesota again that following Saturday that they can win. So about time they meet up with Minnesota, the Pelicans should be sitting at 21-21 when they face Minnesota on January the 12th. Is all I'm saying. Brooklyn, Cleveland, Memphis, and Cleveland again are all winnable matchups. So I don't want to hear it, Alvin Gentry. This team should be ready to go, and we should be able to win our next 4 games, which means we should go on a 5-game winning streak here, and that'll bring us to 20. A 5-game winning streak, starting with Minnesota. We beat them, and then you beat Brooklyn, Cleveland, Memphis, and then Cleveland again. 4 more wins. That give you a 21-21 record coming into the Minnesota game on January the 12th. So that's what I'm expecting. Let's do this thing. Let's go on this little streak here, and let's get this season turned around, because we're in a new year. We're in a new year, y'all. We're in a new year. This is 2019. It's a whole new year. 2018 is behind us. We celebrating a whole new year in 2019. So let's turn this whole thing around and let's get this right. So if I didn't tell you already, Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to all our Pelican Postgame Report family, our Sports Coma family, our Tough Tiger Talk family, all of our families out there. The PRO Media Network family wishes all of our new and established listeners of the show and supporters a Happy New Year. Hopefully this year bring you prosperity, health, wealth, more positive endeavors with your family, and more enlightenment. How about that? And let's throw in there some prayers for wins for the Pelicans and Saints as well. So thank you for listening to the show. If you like the Pelican Postgame Report, please feel free to donate at www.patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. Subscribe to our social media and feel free to share the show. Peace.
You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
What's up, sports world? It's Big Q. Talking at you from the PRO Media Network, letting you know that we're attempting to make things a lot simpler on our listeners and viewers of our mini podcast. So as a result, we're leasing down a lot of our shows to have their own channels for your convenience. Starting soon, shows like Ring King Boxing, LSU's Tough Tiger Talk, the Pelican Postgame Report will all have their own individual YouTube channels. So thank you for working with us during this process. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your donations and support for our platform as we continue to improve moving forward. Peace.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Tea is your escape. It's your opportunity to create a moment for stillness, for reflection, for yourself. It's your connection to a world of senses, flavors both exotic and familiar, energizing and relaxing. It's your retreat from an increasingly turbulent world. It's the perfect paradox of simplicity and complexity. Teabox.com connects tea to people, uniting the richest flavors of the finest teas with the curious, the cultivated, and the adventurous all over the world. The freshest tea you've ever tasted, from crop to cup. There's simply no simpler way to experience the wonderful complexity of tea. Teabox, packing up the freshness. Tea thrives on freshness, and so do they. Teabox temperature and humidity control facility ensure that tea is maintained. The teas themselves go into oblique bags with aluminum layers that protect them from excess moisture and light. With Teabox, shopping for fresh, loose leaf tea is easy because you make an informed purchase. You know exactly where your tea is coming from. So for the freshest teas in the world, check out Teabox.com. That's right, Teabox.com. Check the link in the description section below.
What's up, sports world? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Talking to you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. That's right, poshlifestyle.com. A great website where you can get great products at great prices. They sell organic herbs, vitamins, supplements, water filters for your home, EMF and cell phone radiation protection, healing magnetics and healing crystals, personal protection devices like cell phones, stun guns, and mace sprays, organic deodorants, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, and more. They also sell 10A grade Brazilian hair. 10A music is available now. All kind of the latest downloadable mixtapes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to theposhlifestyle.com. That's the Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a Y, LYFE, style.com. Put in the Sports Coma for the 10% discount on your purchase. It's a win-win. So get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.
Go to newfrog.com for all of your electronic gadget needs. Fast becoming #1 online seller of cell phone and accessories, consumer electronics, automobiles and motorcycles, home and garden items, 5D diamond painting crafts, electrical and tool supplies, computer and networking supplies, lights and lighting supplies, sports and travel items, toys and hobby supplies, apparel and accessory, mother and kid items, health and beauty items, and much, much more. Newfrog.com has up to 70% off on some products. And you can check out their weekly promotions for all the best deals. Remember, when thinking online electronics and gadgets, think New Frog, newfrog.com. Check the link in the description section below.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
There's a reason he's always Employee of the Month. And why no shirt and no shoes is no problem. There's a lot of reasons to be a fan, but only NBAStore.com has all the gear.
Vapor DNA is the absolute premier online vape store, offering an industry-leading selection of e-cigarettes, e-liquids, and accessories. Our friendly and knowledgeable customer service team is always ready to provide the best customer service experience to ensure you find what you're looking for. We guarantee our vaping gear shop products to be 100% genuine and the lowest price. We are so confident in our selection and our customer service. We will offer our customers a 45-day refund policy. That's right, a 45-day refund policy. We are proud of this offer for 3 simple reasons: quality, selection, and price. And that is the reason you should choose Vapor DNA for all your vaping needs. That's www.vapordna.com. Again, that's www.vapordna.com.